Pokemon has always given you the same recipe for success. Level up, evolve, and learn stronger moves. But what happens when you abandon a key ingredient? What if every fight had to be won with the exact same moves that you started with? No new moves, ever. At first it might sound easy, but as my opponents grow stronger and their moves get more powerful, will I be able to keep up? This is Pokemon Ultra Sun, but I can never learn a single move. I named myself Halo, chose Litten as my starter, and immediately ran into a problem. Our only Pokemon was going to learn a new move in just 3 levels. And since the game hadn't given us any Pokeballs, we couldn't catch anything new to replace it. The only way to move forward was to avoid gaining EXP entirely. Luckily, most of the early battles in this game are technically losable, so we threw some fights, one to How and one to some Spearow, and the game let us progress. Eventually, the weird shirtless man handed us Pokeballs, and that's when we decided to spice the challenge up a little. From this point on, these would be the official rules of the challenge. No Pokemon is allowed to learn a move under any circumstance. We may only catch 1 Pokemon per route or area. If a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead and must be boxed permanently. Items are banned during battle. And finally, if we white out, we must restart the run. The moment these rules went into effect, the game immediately punched back. To move forward, we still had 2 battles we couldn't avoid. The first was a random trainer with a Baniri. The second was How. And while his fight is technically losable, losing now meant restarting the entire run, so that wasn't an option. Together, these fights would push Litten to level 8 and force it to learn Lick. We scoured the area for a solution, but every catchable Pokemon was so low level that they were all seconds away from learning new moves themselves. Well, almost every Pokemon. Turns out, the answer to our problem had been staring us in the face the entire time. Baniri. In this generation, Baniri always knows 4 moves, no matter the level, meaning it can level up forever without learning anything new. All we had to do now was let Litten absorb the EXP from the Baniri and from How's Pichu, then faint before learning Lick. After that, our new Baniri, Hope, could take care of the rest. The rest of the early game was business as usual. We caught a Magnemite, Hope died, and got a sumo wrestler who punched a rat a few times, and boom, Trial 1 was complete. From there, the shirtless man reappeared to teach us the ancient Alolan art of aggressive dancing, which apparently makes my Pokemon hit harder. Not sure why, but whatever. We headed straight to Route 3, where Lily told us she lost her cosmic space thing again, so we chased it through Melee Meadow and caught a Cottony named Iron before finally locating her cosmic fart in a cave. And then I made the single dumbest decision of the entire playthrough. I decided to hunt a Salamence. Here's the situation. Route 3 has a 1% chance to spawn a Bagon. That Bagon then has to call for help, and that ally has a 1% chance of being Salamence. So your odds are literally 1 in 10,000. Normally, you'd use Adrenaline Orbs to force SOS calls, except we can't buy those until the second island, which brings me to a little detail I forgot to mention earlier. Once we leave Melee Island, we're only allowed to catch the first Pokemon we encounter on each route. Meaning, if I walked away from Route 3 now, Salamence would be gone forever. So I stayed for a long time, until finally, ladies and gentlemen, I have the Salamence. In all of its beauty and all of its glory. We welcome Greed to the team, and with my newly acquired, wildly overpowered dragon that absolutely no one was intended to have at this point in the game, we walk straight into Hala's Grand Trial, where Iron took care of business with Fairy Wind. We Mantine surfed our way to Akala Island, and apparently I learned a new move. Don't worry, that's legal. My Pokemon aren't allowed to learn new moves. I, however, am free to master as many sick tricks as I want. Right after landing, Route 4 handed us our first real power-up of the challenge, the Magnet. A 20% boost to electric-type moves doesn't sound like much, but when your entire offensive game plan is basically make Thundershock look less pathetic, this was life-changing. From there, most of Akala Island was pretty standard, so let's speedrun this with a good old-fashioned trial gauntlet. Here, we just used some classic Leech Seed and Stun Spore stalling. Nothing fancy. Iron just chilled while the enemy was slowly drained of life. Shout out to the Dewpider who stole my citrus berry. I will remember your crimes. On the way up to Wella Volcano Park, we picked up a Mudbray named Kamish, perfect for handling fire types. So the plan was simple. Let the horse cook. Except I led with the wrong Pokemon, so Biru and Greed had to clean up my mess. It still counts though. This one took forever because Lurantis is actually pretty tanky. But we had something no trainer on Akala Island is supposed to have. A giant OP dragon that resists literally everything in this stupid jungle. The combo of Greed's resistance and pure strength meant victory was assured from the start. It did take a while though. With the second island wrapping up, we pushed forward to Grand Trial number 2. On the way, we passed through Diglett Tunnel, where we ran into the totally normal, definitely not suspicious, super friendly science people. Nothing weird going on there. In Konikoni City, we grabbed another powerful item, the Eviolite. For anyone who doesn't know, the Eviolite boosts the defenses of an unevolved Pokemon by 50%. Naturally, we slapped it on Iron because with a base stat total of 280, that Cotton Ball would definitely perish without help. And thank God we did, because she was about to need it. Beerus got it. Eventually, Beerus started running low on HP, so we brought in Iron to Leech Seed and finished the job. And you remember that Eviolite from earlier? Okay, it's a GG at this point, yeah. Wow! Thank God we had the Eviolite on. Messy? Yes. A win? Also yes. 2 grand trials down, 2 to go. Before heading to the Aether Paradise, we made a pit stop to grab what would become the single most influential item of the entire run, the Metronome. With the Metronome, every consecutive use of the same move boosts its power by 20%, meaning with enough commitment, our weak moves could actually outdamage our opponent's strong ones. We handed it to Kamish, saved the Aether Paradise from Squidward, hopped to Island 3, and immediately got challenged by Hao. He didn't take anyone out, but Igris, Biru, and Greed all had terrifyingly close calls. In Mali City, we caught Shabber the Grimer, who we'll need for later, and headed to the bus stop, which was being harassed by the dancers for some reason. We saved the poor bus stop, and as thanks, it carried us up to Mount Hokulani, where the shirtless man invited us to stargaze with him before the next trial. This was the quickest battle in the entire challenge. Kamish, now a Mudsdale, used Bulldoze, it crit, and Totem Togedemaru shattered. Trial 5 complete. Afterward, we officially added Shabber to the team. Guzma tried fighting us with only 2 Pokemon, which went exactly how you think it did. And on our way to the next trial, Iron evolved into Whimsicott, Igris evolved into Magnezone, Shabber evolved into Muck, and we swapped Biru for John the Wishy-Washy, since Biru can't touch ghost types. And with that, we marched toward Trial 6 with confidence. This one was where the challenge truly began. Up to this point, most fights were manageable because the early game move pools were just as weak as ours. But from here on out, every opponent was running moves that completely outclassed the baby tier nonsense we were stuck with. So if we couldn't win by making ourselves stronger, we just have to win by making the enemy weaker. So the strategy began with Shabber, who was nothing short of perfect for the job. This was because Acid Spray could simultaneously break Mimikyu's disguise and harshly lower its special defense, which was the only way we could make Thundershock do any more damage. Now that our moves could deal decent damage, the only thing stopping us from securing victory was Mimikyu's incredible strength. This is where John came in. While in the schooling form, John was actually tanky enough to eat 2 of Mimikyu's play roughs without fainting. This allowed us to fire off a tearful look and bring Mimikyu's boosted attack back down to normal before John fainted. But with a base attack of 90, Mimikyu was still too strong. So, to ensure the safety of our team members, we would need to pile on another attack debuff before going on the offensive. To do this, we used our free switch in on Greed, who intimidated the Mimikyu to bring it down to -1 attack stages, and it was finally time to begin. Igris came in, and with its superior bulk and increased damage output thanks to the acid spray from before, he was able to chip away at the Mimikyu, setting the stage for Kamish and Iron to finish the job. And with that, the first real challenge was complete. Back in Tapu Village, the dancers finally crossed the line and kidnapped a kid's Yungoos. Plumeria stepped up to stop us, and during the battle landed one insanely lucky crit, and with that, Kamish was no more. This was a huge hit to the team, and came right as the challenge was just getting started. We headed to Guzma's lair, folded him, and returned the Yungoos to the child, and then the real crisis hit. Lily got kidnapped. Not the cosmic fart this time, actual Lily. But before we were allowed to save her, classic Pokemon logic kicked in. Her brother wanted to battle, and then the chief of police insisted that we do his grand trial, all before saving the kidnapped child. We beat them up, got permission to continue our vigilantism, and added Stoutland to the team, and finally went to rescue her. Gladion dragged us to the base of the super nice people who shockingly turned out to be evil, and then even worse, they were actually working with the dancers. Small region. Outside, Guzma tried one more time with his full team. He's most definitely gonna sucker punch, so we are simply gonna leer because I don't want to take any damage that's unnecessary. Yep, there's Sucker Punch. Nice try, buddy. I wonder if that makes the AI not use Sucker Punch next turn. No, he's only gonna spam Sucker Punch, but at the end of the day, he's still just a glorified bug catcher with an exploitable AI. And finally, we reached Lusamine, who revealed she was Lily's mom, said she was stronger than us, and immediately challenged us to prove it. Shabber finally got his moment here, as we maxed out our evasion with Minimize, and he was able to take down Clefable and Milotic, getting hit only once in the process. Lusamine got lucky and landed a Drain Punch, which forced us to pull out before Shabber shattered. Iron outsped Beware, and was able to nuke it with Fairy Wind thanks to the Acid Spray drops. Then Lopunny got seeded, sealing its fate, and Greed came in to stack Metronome boosts and swept the rest. Lusamine started aura farming, Guzma tried his best, and then everyone just went to bed. The world kept turning, and we set sail for island number 4. We landed on Pony Island, met up with the horse girl Kahuna, and headed straight into Vast Pony Canyon, where everything immediately fell apart. A wild Golbat ambushed us. We tried to run, failed, and Biru got hit with Mean Look, trapping her in battle. The next turn, Poison Fang badly poisoned her, and remember, no items in battle. The timer had officially started. She fired back with all-out pummeling for huge damage, but the next turn, Arm Thrust rolled the minimum number of hits. She finished the Golbat off, but by then it was too late. The poison had finished her. Biru, one of our longest standing team members, was gone, but there wasn't any time to grieve. We pushed forward, and a scientist jumped us. His lead, Magnezone. Great. It threatened Iron immediately, so we pivoted to Stoutland, and the scientist used an X special attack, doubling its already ridiculous special attack stat. Biru had always been our answer to these types of Pokemon, but now she was gone, and we were in trouble. Stoutland tried for a Bite Flinch. No luck there. Too low to stay in, so we swapped to Igris for Supersonic. Supersonic missed, and missed again. And on the third attempt, it finally connected, but Magnezone ignored confusion and obliterated Igris with Flash Cannon. Another one, gone. Our only strategy left was stalling. Iron landed a crucial Leech Seed while Magnezone thankfully missed Screech, giving us some time to rotate. Stoutland came back in, took another hit, and went down to Discharge. And finally, Greed landed a beautifully timed Crit Ember, finished the Magnezone. But by then, Biru was gone, Igris was gone, Stoutland was gone, half the team was gone. We limped back to the Pokemon Center and rebuilt the squad. Something Mean the Absol, Goon the Shuppet, and Peter the Whalmer, who quickly became a Whale Lord, filled our empty slots. After building back up, we pushed through the rest of the rocky terrain and arrived at trial number 7, the Dragon Trial. Komodo doesn't just show up strong, it shows up cheating. Every single one of its stats gets boosted by 50% at the start of the fight, and it can call things in like Noivern that are terrifying on their own. So we took inspiration from our battle with Mimikyu and devised a plan to conquer this trial. And since this one is a bit more complicated, I'll take time to explain it. Step 1. Lower Komodo's attack. By leading with Greed, we can kick off the battle by reducing its boosted attack back down to normal. This would also bait the AI into using a super effective move if it has one, and in this case, that move is Dragon Claw. That gives us a perfect pivot turn into Iron, who is completely immune to dragon moves. Step number 2. Abuse the pivot. Once Iron is in safely, Komodo sees the 4x weakness to Poison Jab, which happens to be one of its weaker moves. So we just swap back to Greed for another Intimidate, then back to Iron, then back to Greed, stacking attack drops while taking minimal damage. Step 3. The win condition. Once Komodo's attack is low enough, we bring in Shabber. With Komodo hitting like a noodle and Shabber's solid bulk, we'd have time to stack Minimize like we did with Lusamine. Even after just 2 turns of this, a 100% accurate move should only hit us around 40% of the time. From there, Shabber could just dodge everything, stall them out, and slowly chip them away. We had a good backup plan involving Peter, as any good plan does. With Amnesia to boost special defense and Rest for sustain, Noivern's special attacks would be so weak that they wouldn't outdamage our healing, and with Komodo's attack being beyond low, we just sit there and slowly whittle them down. That's how things were supposed to go. Here's what actually happened. Okay, I'm gonna swap to Iron. Okay, yeah, it does Dragon Claw, thank God. Called a Noivern. That is the better option. Okay, yeah, there's the Poison Jab. Don't poison me, please, that'd be really bad. Dude, the poison's so bad, because if it wasn't for the poison, I'd know for a fact that we'd live another turn of switching with Greed, but now I don't. They both should do Dragon-type moves. The Noivern scares me, because I don't know how smart that AI is. Okay, now they're gonna do the same thing. Here's what I'm gonna do, because I'm too scared to watch it. I'm gonna swap to Greed, and I'm gonna use the restroom while this happens. I hope nobody dies. Oh my God, he lived. So we're gonna go back into Cottony or Iron here. We're not swapping back to Salamence because that would be dumb. So we'll go into Shabber. That's gonna do nothing. Yeah, fantastic. We are going to start minimizing. One minimize. Let's minimize again. I'm hoping one of them misses. I'm hoping the Noivern misses. Oh, crit! You're kidding! That just ruined everything. And you hit the Dragon Claw. Don't crit again. How do you hit? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. +4 evasiveness? At least we get a free Greed Intimidate in. Definitely have to do this. Hey, he'd take that though. He didn't take that though. Oh, shit. One more Intimidate off. So Peter should get a pretty clean swap in here. Air Slash is what I'm worried about. We have to Amnesia. I really do think I rest. Oh, that's bad. That's really, really fucking bad. No. I have a plan. I don't like it because it's literally gambling, but at this point, it's all we have. At this point, the Noivern is the problem. Z Stun Spore is what I have to do. It'll hit, and Z Stun Spore also raises my special defense by 1 stage, which increases the chances of Iron surviving. This is gonna be so risky. A 75% chance to hit that, we miss, and it crits. His attack is so low. Effective, and dude, the Noivern crit too. What just happened? I was devastated. Had any of those attacks missed on Shabber, had any of those crits not happened, air slashes or screeches not connected, or had Z Stun Spore not missed, and the fight could have been won. After all that time spent finding Salamence and working our way through the game, I had failed, and I felt like giving up. But then, I remembered something my teacher once said. Failure is not established when we fall. Rather, it is when we refuse to get back up. And so, I got back up, and 5 days later, we were back, with a new, yet familiar team, ready to conquer this trial. Dragon Trial attempt number 2. Here we go. Going in this time, I knew not to underestimate my opponent. I had spent the last few days rebuilding for this exact moment. I'll introduce the team. We've got Goofball the Mudsdale, Nosehairs the Probopass, Luck the Lantern, Colorado Boy the Magnazone, Lila the Cottony, and finally, Tump Tump the Trevenant, our secret weapon complete entirely with Curse, Will-O-Wisp, and Leech Seed, the One Tree Apocalypse. Right off the bat, we led with Tump Tump, and the plan was simple. Drop a curse on Komodo, then stall it out. With that curse ticking, all we had to do was survive 4 turns, and the trial was ours. We swapped to Goofball, who, thanks to its incredible bulk, soaked up every hit until Komodo dropped. With only the Noivern remaining, Colorado Boy came in and zapped it clean off the field. We were officially back in business. We progressed forward to the Altar of the Sun, where Lily's cosmic fart revealed itself to actually be my neighbor's dog. The Bug Boy and Aura Farmer fell out of a wormhole along with Necrozma, who squared up with Nebby and absolutely dog-walked him. They fused together and challenged us to a fight, but after 2 quick bulldozes from Goofball, it realized it stood no chance and fled this dimension. We needed to chase it down, so the Ultra people from the Ultra Squad lent us their Ultra Beast to take to Ultra Megalopolis to meet their Ultra Parents and face Ultra Necrozma. With the insane stat boost it gets at the start of the battle, this thing effectively has a base stat total of 1,083, more than double that of my strongest Pokemon. If I wasn't careful, this fight would end my run. We sent out Tump Tump again, the plan of course being to land a curse and then stall, but the problem was curse costs half your HP to use, meaning Tump Tump would definitely faint the turn we used it, but I came prepared. Before the fight, I gave Tump Tump the Ghostium Z, which turns curse into Z Curse. Same effect, but it heals you to full HP first. After tanking a Photon Geyser, Tump Tump healed to full and placed a curse on the Ultra Beast. All we had to do now was stall. Nosehairs came in, rested, and sat there until the Necrozma couldn't take it anymore, all according to plan. It was officially time for trial number 8. This one is a bit different. The danger comes not only from the totem Pokemon at the end, but from the trial process itself. Instead of battling weak, wild Pokemon, you have to face 4 trial captains, each with juiced up teams. First was a Lima, and, well, he was about as threatening as you'd expect the very first trial captain to be. Next was Mallow, and unlike Alima, she didn't go down easy. The real problem here was my own poor planning. I had forgotten to bring anyone with real answers for grass types, and that mistake cost me dearly. Nosehairs, our rock of a tank, went down to a quad-effective low sweep that I hadn't seen coming. We did eventually grind her team down, but losing Nosehairs stunk. After that, the Fire and Electric captains weren't much of an issue. Luck and Goofball handled them without breaking a sweat. So with all 4 captains defeated, we returned to Pony Island and faced the totem Pokemon Rabombi. But honestly, Rabombi never stood a chance. We sent in Tump Tump, the certified totem killer, and used the same strategy as always. Z Curse, swapped to something bulky, waited out, and with that, Rabombi folded. Trial 8 was complete. Next up was Grand Trial number 4, Hapu and her ground types. And honestly, after the Dragon Trial and Ultra Necrozma, this was refreshingly normal. Ground is a strong offensive type, sure, but we had actual answers. The only real issue here was Colorado Boy being quad weak to ground, so we benched him for safety and brought in Bot Dude the Aerodactyl, plus Whale Lord as a temporary patch for losing Nosehairs. The fight itself played out pretty cleanly, and there were 0 casualties. With all trials complete, only Mount Lanakila stood between me and the Pokemon League, and nothing would get in my way. Gladion tried. He failed, and as a reward, he maxed out our PP. which was nice. Further up, we caught Necrozma and added it to the team. The hike after that was pretty calm, which I really appreciated after everything that was going on before. Upon reaching the summit, we made a quick detour to Mahalo Trail to pick up Solgaleo. Fusing Necrozma and Solgaleo is normally a no-brainer, but in a challenge like this, that meant if one died, both died. I didn't care too much though, and fused them anyway. And with that, our final team was assembled. Time for the Elite Four. First up was Molayne, the Steel-type specialist. Honestly, this was barely a warm-up. Goofball just bulldozed through 4 of his Pokemon like they weren't even there, and Tum Tum closed things out with his signature Z-Curse. 1 down. Next was Kahili and her flying types.
Oh my god, Halucha, please survive this, bro. What is this Dragon Ball Z-ass move we're about to use, man? Oh my god, Halucha, please! Ribombee!
Moving on. Olivia's rock types, same story. Goofball showed up, pressed bulldoze, and Olivia's team collectively retired. That left Acerola, the one we'd been saving for last. And for good reason. Ghost types were a massive problem for our team. The issue was Ale, our Necrozma, was the only one with strong super effective coverage, but he was also weak to Ghost himself. It was the definition of a double-edged sword. He led with Banette, 1 Night Slash, gone. Frostlass, same thing. Then came Delmise, who was actually bulky enough to survive a hit and retaliate with Shadow Ball. We finished it off with the next Night Slash, which brought in Palisand, and here's where things went very wrong. No.
Ah! No! Oh, guys, we're dead. Oh my god, 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 we're dead. We're literally dead. Guys, I just sold. We have the special Bro, if we didn't get the special defense over, we wouldn't be dead. We're dead. We're dead. We're dead. No!
Yeah, I kind of forgot it had that. In my defense, I thought she'd save her Z-move for her last Pokemon. Incredibly naive thinking on my part. Ale, our strongest Pokemon and only real Ghost answer, was gone. With my heart in my throat, luck came in, thankfully packing perfect coverage. Palisand went down, Drifblim went down, and somehow all that was left was the champion. The thought of going into this fight without a full team had me sweating. Chat, of course, was super helpful.
I think reaching the end credits would be the best strat personally. Do you? I'm not sure. Myself, I'd suggest that you get his Pokemon's HP to 0. Okay. We got a bunch of funny guys in here.
After about 10 minutes of stalling and panicking, it was time for the final battle to determine once and for all whether or not you can beat Pokemon Ultra Sun without ever learning a single move. Goofball led the charge, defeating Raichu and even Vaporeon thanks to a crit. Crabominable was a bit bulkier, but ultimately got 2-shot, and things were going great. Decidueye came in, outsped, and finally put Goofball down. We didn't have a clean answer to the bird, so Tum Tum stepped up, landed Curse, and traded lives. With Decidueye gone, it was Lila versus Noivern. She landed a Leech Seed, and after a whole lot of switch stalling, it came down to the final hurdle, Tauros. This Tauros was not messing around. Earthquake threatened to one-shot most of the remaining team, and our hardest hitting move at this point was Thundershock. Stalling seemed almost impossible, but we didn't have a choice. Lila threw out a desperate Leech Seed, which proved to be her final act before Double Edge took her down. Colorado Boy didn't even get to do anything before Earthquake took his life, and that left Luck alone against a full-powered Tauros. We had one chance, Confuse Ray. If we landed it, Tauros would have a 50-50 shot each turn to hit itself, win 2 coin flips in a row, and we'd be champion. Luck survived a hit and confused Tauros. I held my breath, and then...
Please, Bubble Beam, please speed lower. Hit yourself! Hit yourself! Please! No! Please! No! 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 No!
We lost. The very last Pokemon, the very last battle. This one stung even worse than the wipe to Komodo, but still, I refused to quit, and a couple days later, we came back. This time, with only 4 Pokemon left. And honestly, I'll just let this one play out.
Here we go! Round 2, round 2! We got this, we got this. Thank you. Your turn to miss. We wanna go to Jordan, for sure. We're gonna need you to start missing some, twin. ASAP. Alright, full heal, please. Nice. Alright, this means we could probably come out of this little interaction here with full HP. At this point, we have insane evasiveness. We should be good. I'm going to Poison Fang, because I want to get the poison off. Yeah, it missed.
Bad poison or poison touch. Okay, we got the badly poisoned. From here, we'll just start acid spraying. Oh, the quick attack connects. That's interesting. Okay, I think the Toro should be coming out here. Yes, there it is. Perfect. We had one chance. Confuse Ray. If we landed it, Tauros would have a 50-50 shot each turn to hit itself. I held my breath and then, please. I'm just gonna acid spray. Here comes another one. Miss this too. Yes! Yes! That feels so good! That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it should be. Yeah, revenge upon that man. Get that guy out of here. Keep missing, twins. Keep missing. Oh my god, another miss. This next one kills. Oh! That is exactly how this is supposed to go. You're gonna get acid sprayed, twin. Super Fang, you miss. Yes. All he's got is Noivern and Decidueye. Luck finally blesses us after all of our suffering. Jordan, slime these guys! Yes! Actually, this is genuinely Jordan, bro. Genuinely Jordan. All right, Decidueye. Now, you're cooked. You know what? That's just acid spray. There's no point in doing anything else. Okay, the Bloom Doom connects. We don't care. We don't care. We're full HP and we resist. And that's why the Vaporeon Leech Seed method is goated. You can't out-damage me, bro. I'm sorry. You just can't. And now your special defense is -6 stages. Doesn't even matter. You guys ready for a -6 acid spray? Check it out. Now we'll get to see what it looks like without the crit class. Here we go. It's still like half your HP, bozo. There we go. We finally dodged one. Jordan's soloing this guy's whole team. That's a badly poisoned too. You're cooked, twin. You're cooked. See ya. Won't be this turn, but it'll be soon. We haven't even used our Z move yet, dude. We still have Z curse in the... Do we end it with a fling? Oh my god, we gotta end it with the fling. That's so funny. That's so funny. Hey, you can have this, bro. Yes! Yes! We did it! It's done! It's done! We're done! Oh my god! Oh! And so, after 19 streams and a combined 70 hours, we proved that yes, it is possible to beat Pokemon Ultra Sun without ever learning a single move. If you like this video and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and stop by my Twitch if you want to see these challenges live. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.